Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Fairfield County's live webinar on From Idea to Income in Just 12 Weeks. I'm Bob Hogan, the webinar coordinator today and a business mentor here at Fairfield County. I'm going to be your host today, and our presenter is Holly Hurd. More on Holly in just a minute, but first some brief information on SCORE. SCORE is a national organization, and we are part of the SBA, the Small Business Administration of the federal government. Locally here in Fairfield County, we have over 130 volunteers with a wide range of industry, process, subject matter expertise. And we offer three primary value-added services to small business owners and entrepreneurs. We offer free one-on-one counseling, which can be by face-to-face or in these times via video. It can also be by telephone or email. And you can access that by either clicking on the link that you see on the screen, or you can go to our website and hit the request a mentor link at fairfieldcounty.score.org. We also offer a wide range of educational workshops and webinars, about 150 throughout the year. And lastly, we offer extensive resources on our website, including access to a network of subject matter experts. Our next live webinar will be this Thursday, September 24th at noon. And the topic will be funding sources for small business in the age of COVID, with Julio Casiano from the SBA presenting. And you can find more specifics and details on our website, fairfieldcounty.score.org. And when you're on our website, you can also access a large number of on-demand webinars that you can see on a wide range of topics there. Typically, as we normally do, we've set aside questions and answers for the end of the presentation. If you have a question, you can hover on the bottom of your screen and bring up the chat window at any time during the presentation and type your question in there, and Holly will take it at the end of her prepared presentation. Our webinar will end sharply at 1 o'clock to respect your time. The session is being recorded and will be available on our website within the next 48 hours or so. It's now my pleasure to introduce our speaker today, Holly Hurd. Holly is the founder of VentureMom.com, a blog and platform devoted to sharing stories of women who have their own businesses in order to inspire others to do the same. Holly has interviewed hundreds of women on her blog, making her uniquely qualified to speak on blogging and the small business startup. In her book, VentureMom, From Idea to Income in Just 12 Weeks, Holly gives female founders a step-by-step guide to creating their own income. It's now my pleasure to turn it over to Holly. Holly, it's all yours.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I think what SCORE is doing is really so great, and I love participating in their webinars. So I am going to jump right in because I want to get you guys through the 12 steps from idea to income. So a little bit about who VentureMom is and how this all came about. I started profiling women 10 years ago. Women who've started their own businesses out of thin air. And what I've discovered in doing so is that they all follow sort of the same path. And I've interviewed over 300 women, and through those, I've come up with a step-by-step plan for everyone else who wants to start a business to walk their way through starting a business. My book, From Idea to Income in Just 12 Weeks, has the 12 chapters outlined. So I'm going to give you a brief overview today. I also have a podcast where I take each chapter and expand on it over 20 minutes. So there's more information on what I'm going to give you in a brief overview today if you would like to access that. So I have broken the 12 steps down into 3 sections. The first, and I break it down by the week, because I feel like if I give you more than a week, you'll find a reason to take more time. So, and honestly, some people already know what they want to do. So weeks 1 through 3, which are figuring out what you want to do, you might already know what you want to do, so you can skip to week 4. But I find that a lot of people don't know what they want to do. So week 1 is a week of self-exploration. And in my book and also on my website, I have a process that takes you through this self-exploration. It helps you look at what you used to love to do, right? If you always remember as a child loving to garden and plant and watch things grow, maybe you have a business in gardening or around gardening. If you have always worked with your father or neighbor on woodworking, maybe there's something in that field that you can build a business around. So during this time, there are a lot of questions that I think you need to ask yourself. And some of those involve, what do you enjoy doing? Who do you enjoy being with? So if you enjoy being with animals, your venture is going to be around animals. Where are you most happy? In your home or in an antique shop, in the garden, in your kitchen, in front of your computer? Maybe you find the most exhilaration when you're at a fashion store putting outfits together. Or maybe it's when you're at the gym, or maybe it's a museum, or when you're painting or drawing. So during this first week, you need to find out what you really love to do, because I feel that unless you're doing something that you're really passionate about and really love, you will find success in a business that you love to do, and it won't feel like work, and it won't feel like a business. It'll just feel like you're sharing something that you really enjoy. So if you love being in the dog park with animals, then maybe it's something around animals. If you are not into fashion, your business is not going to be around fashion. So one of the questions is, where do you like to spend your free time? Another question is, who do you like to be with? If you love to be with kids, maybe your venture, your business is around kids. If you love to be with elders, develop a business that helps elders or teaches elders or cares for elders. If you like to be in front of your computer, I'll bet there's a skill that you have on your computer that you can share with others. Where do you like to be? This points to, do you like to be outside? Are you an inside person? Do you like to be in stores? Do you like to be in antique stores? So this is the self-exploration that I'm talking about that you want to do in week one. Couple of other things. I feel so, I have some in my book that I have complete the sentences. I feel so great and energized when I'm blank. How do you complete that sentence? Here's another one. Everyone around me tells me I'd make a great blank. So what do your friends and family say? I love this one. If you were the star of a TV show, it would be about blank. So I want you to fill in those blanks. I also encourage you to start a vision board. And if you were going to start a vision board, look around your house. What are the magazines, or I guess on your computer, what are the blogs that you follow? What are the Instagrams you follow? If everything you have is about motorcycles and riding on the open road and all kinds of motorcycles, and you have motorcycle magazines and you follow their blogs, then maybe you should start a business around motorcycles. If you look around your house or on your computer and everything is about traveling, so you've got, travel and leisure, and you follow travel blogs, that might point you in the direction of a travel business. So a vision board is simply where you are now and where you see yourself. So what's important to you? So week one is all about self-exploration. And a lot of this points to why start your own business. And these are questions in week one that you should answer as well. So many of the women that I interview, flexibility is a huge part of having your own business. Working 9 to 5 for someone else, doing something that you're not really passionate about, or not being paid enough for, or really don't have your heart in, might point you to start your own business. I come back to passion. If cooking is your passion, then I encourage you to start a business around cooking. Also income. Now, income when you start your business can be very difficult at the beginning, but I then would encourage you, if income is something you really need, start it as a side gig until you're making enough to quit your day job. So week 2 is focus. So you're asking yourself all of these questions and you're honing in on what you really love to do and who you really like to be with, what you used to do in your past life. It should be by week 2, you should have an area of focus. Maybe you love wine. You love collecting wine. You have wine magazines. You read wine blogs. There might be a way to start a business around wine. So week 2 is when you hone in on what your business will be. I also like week 2 to be about friends and family. Ask your friends and family what they see you as doing for a business, or what product do they see you selling or offering to the public. So week 2, you want to get enough focus that you're starting to see an area that you could develop a business around, and you're also going to ask friends and family. And maybe you might even start to test your ideas. So let's say you want to become a sommelier and be paid for that. You might ask your friends and family, what do you think about that? And if they say, oh my God, you love wine and you always know the right wine and the right pairings with my dinners, and absolutely, you'd be great at that. I mean, that's kind of pretty positive. If your friends and family say, really? I've never seen you drink a glass of wine ever. You might want to rethink that. So the other thing I want to cover here is the 2 types of business. So a service business, which is where you provide a service and you charge by the project or by the hour. So during your self-exploration, is there a talent or a skill that you have that others compliment you on? Are you really good with animals and dogs? And can you train dogs? Do you love being around dogs? Do you have dogs? Do you find yourself in the dog park all the time? Do people say, oh my God, how did you get my dog to do that in the 30 minutes that you were here? That might be something that you could build a business around, and maybe you charge for dog walks, maybe you charge for dog training, maybe you charge for dog sitting. Another service business idea would be something, a need that's not being met. And I know in my own community, a gentleman had left Wall Street and he decided he wanted to start a specialized moving company. So when people in his community needed to move a bed from their home to their kid's home, or needed to pick up a piece of furniture they bought at a tag sale, or needed to move, I don't know, a stove that they got at a consignment shop, he offers a very specialized one-on-one moving service. And from the moment he hung up his shingle and told his friends and family, he has been solidly booked. It's amazing the number of people that don't need a big moving company, but they need a small moving company. He saw a need that wasn't being met in his community, and he specialized in one area of that overall industry, the moving industry. I mean, you generally think moving house to house, but there's so many small moves and so many high-end, you know, moving new furniture, going from the decorator, you know, picking up a couch and taking it to be recovered, things like that. He has found a niche and he is super busy. So is there something within your area of interest that you could take to a higher level or specialize? Also customize. So computers, if you love to be on your computer and you're really good at QuickBooks, I would venture there are a lot of people that aren't good at QuickBooks, a lot of people who run their own business and need someone to do their books for them or write their checks for them. I know a woman who has an accounting business, and she's not an accountant, she's more of a bookkeeper, and she does bill pay for her clients. So you could imagine their clients that are busy with lots of kids, lots of bills, and they just would prefer to have someone else manage all of those bills. And nowadays, with everything online, she sets up all of your auto pay. She manages those accounts, balances your checkbooks, all of that. So if there's something that you could customize and offer a personalized service, not everyone wants to learn QuickBooks and do it for themselves. Frankly, so many things they would prefer to hire someone and have them do it. So there's so many computer-based service businesses that you could develop if that's your skill or talent, and you have a, maybe it's accounting, maybe it's graphic design, maybe it's, you want to develop logos for people. Whatever your talent or skill is on the computer, you could hang a shingle and offer that to others. If you want to start a product business, I would encourage you to reimagine an old product. You see the shower cap on the right. This product is called Dry Divas. And this is a woman from the South. She's a venture mom. I profiled her. And she and her daughter would get their hair done and blown out, but the flimsy shower caps of old, I mean, you remember those blue ones with a small piece of elastic, would not last long at all. So she reimagined an old product and created these wonderful big bouffant high-end shower caps, and now they're sold in Neiman Marcus. The belt, Nancy Zylstra is a woman who created this belt for herself, and others loved it and said, I love that belt, will you make me one? So she's created an entire line of belts, and they're sold in stores all over the East Coast. The dog mat, this is Soggy Doggy Dog Mat. She's in pet stores, everyone. She developed this mat out of this wonderfully absorbent fabric and created a product. The pecans, the same thing. What about a need not being met? Ebration realized that when they got married, they walked away from their actual wedding night with a pile full of checks and cards to go to their honeymoon, and they weren't quite sure. They wanted to keep them safe, and they thought, I wish there was something where people could pay us online and do their cards all online. So they have launched Ebration. So, and if you look at a lot of the web companies out there, everything from Airbnb to, I don't know, millions of them, needs not being met. Find a need not being met and meet it. That's how you can come up with a product line and create a product business. So now week 3, you have to decide. You must make a decision. And this can be very difficult. But what I say to my clients is, if you have to pivot, you can, but you must move forward. Let's say, and I also, week 3 is do your research. So let's say you want to start a beer company. Do your research. Go out there and see who started beer companies. What's involved? Can you start in your basement? Are there licenses required? Let's say you have a garden and you want to sell at farmers markets. Well, maybe that's, you just say, okay, I'm going to start it. I've got this fabulous garden with all of these vegetables. I'm going to sign up for the farmers market. Just do it. And that might lead to something else, which will lead to something else. You don't have to have all of the answers when you start, and you might start somewhere and end up somewhere else, and that's okay. But by week 3, you have to decide. Week 4, you have to name your business. So first thing is brainstorm. So sit down and write all related words. So Golftini is a fabulous line of women's golf wear, and they like the idea of having martinis while you're golfing. So this is a really cute logo and a great name, and their colors are black and pink. The local vault has a great tagline, luxury home consignment. So they used a tagline to explain what they do. The local vault is a play on local products that are in the vault, but they're sharing them with you. So a lot of times you also want to incorporate the purpose of your business. So order on the court is you're able to order tennis clothing, So her logo is very cute. Her colors are this teal and white. I like the alliteration, order on the court, and also the meaning there. You can order things you need for the court. Once you come up with your name, also get personal. I mean, make a whole list of, I know a brand, Carolina Crush. She's from North Carolina. She sells bracelets. You might have a street you like, a team mascot you like, a place you vacation. Hedge funds always name their funds after, places where they vacation or high mountain peaks. But once you come up with your name, check the domain availability. The worst thing would be is to fall in love with a name and then it means something totally different out in the webosphere. So check the domain availability, get feedback from friends and family, and then secure the domain, secure the Instagram, secure the Twitter. Okay, so you've picked your name. Now week 5 is brand your business. And I'm all about doing it on a dime in the beginning until you make money. You could spend tens of thousands of dollars on a brand consultant and they may come up with something that you could have found for free online. So the simple advice I give you for branding your business is to pick 2 colors. So pick 2 colors that mean something to you and might mean something to your business. So if you think navy blue, those are business colors. Like think IBM, their colors are blue. If you think about food, orange and red have been proven time and time again. Think McDonald's, Wendy's, and Burger King. They all use orange and red. And don't agonize over it. Pick 2 colors that speak to you. You can always change it. When I was choosing my logo, I chose a pink for mom. I chose the brown for being a strong person, but not too harsh, which is why I didn't choose black. And my colors were a little different in the beginning. I upgraded them recently, and these are my colors, this wonderful mauve and this brown that you see in the writing. And then you need to pick 2 fonts. So if you're doing a children's product, there's some wonderfully fun fonts. If you have a business product, you want a more serious font. It wouldn't make sense to have, curly cute toys and as your font if you're offering a business product. So Menage, their tagline is advanced men's skincare, and their colors are black and this deep rust color, which, those are kind of manly colors. And their logo and tagline are in the white in this all caps with the, double dots over the E. So Menage. HOADIN is they came up with this name. It's an acronym for Help Out a Dog in Need. So HOADIN developed a whole line of leashes and collars and pet products using sustainable cork materials. And 1% of all their profits go towards shelters for dogs. And this is their logo. Their colors are, this sort of faded used blue and white. And it's a dog tag with the stars around it. So help out a dog in need. It's a unique name, but did anyone know what Etsy was or Google when they started out? So, you might come up with something like that for your name. Create a logo. Google free logos online, and you can come up with a million different things, something that speaks to you, and develop a tagline like Advanced Men's Skincare or local furniture consignments. Week 6, price your product or your service. So Zwick Picks she was a photographer, but now that business has sort of gone away. I mean, there's still some of that, but she now does photo organizing. So she charges an hourly fee, and it's clearly outlined on her website what she charges by the hour to come over and set up, and help you organize your photos. She also does photo books, and she has a fee for that. You want to be really clear up front, especially in a service venture, and especially when you're working with friends and family, or anybody for that matter. Say, I charge $100 an hour. I will come over and organize your closet for 3 hours. I expect to be paid up front. I will leave promptly after 3 hours. And, set a timer. Your time is money. And if they say, oh, I need another hour, then say, that's fine. I'm happy to stay another hour. That will be an additional $100 or whatever your fees are. So be very clear and get paid up front. Your products. This is J&L Tweed. They have a wonderful line of tweed products, dock kits and trays and bags. And they have a website that lists all of their products and the prices and the colors, and they're very clear. I also like packages. So ZwickPics might offer you 3 hours of photo organizing, get the 4th hour for free. Or if you buy 6 hours of photo organizing, we'll throw in a free photo book. So packages get people to, purchase more from you and learn who you are. Discounts and starter things. So you might offer, if you're off, for example, if J&L Tweed is offering this new dock kit in new colors, they might say new product, 10% off of the first 50 purchases, or however they want to do it, just to get people in the door. ZwickPics might offer a free half-hour consultation. If you're a service provider, it's really great to get to know your people. I, in fact, offer a free half-hour consultation for people who want to work with me, just so you can see if it's a good fit and see if you're both on the same page. So week 7 is to set up a website, and this scares a lot of people, but a lot of the GoDaddy and places like that online will walk you through it. But you must, if you're in business, you have to have a website, even if it's just one page that says under construction or reach me here, even if it's just a contact page. But I do suggest 4 pages, and Lynn Byrne is a writer, and she has her blog, her clients, her awards, and contact. But you would have home, where you describe what you offer. So for her, she might have a picture and say, if you're in need of writing, I can help you with content. I can, write for you. And then you would have an about page, and this is your story. So Lynn Byrne might say, I majored in literature at this school, and I worked for this magazine, and now I'm on my own, and I'm providing, this is why I'm passionate about it. I think it's really important, if you're passionate about motorcycles and your business is to sell motorcycle parts, you want to say why, and you want to show pictures of you and your motorcycle and why it's important to you. And then you certainly need a shop. So like J&L Tweed would have a shop page, or a book me, like a book me page. Book an hour, or book a free half hour, and has your email, your phone, and possibly your address if that is relevant. Week 8 is email. So you really want to have a business email address. Now, you can start out with a Gmail. So Olive and Coco, they do gift baskets. So maybe when they were starting out, they were oliveandcoco@gmail.com, and you can set that up immediately, but at least you have a business email address. Once you have your website, GoDaddy and places like that will allow you to have info@oliveandcoco.com, and that shows you're serious. So if your business name is Bikes or Us, you would want to have info@bikesorus.com. So you want to make sure you have a business address. You want to get the word out. So you want to do an email to friends and family. So Olive and Coco would send out, hey everyone, I can't wait to share with you. I've started this new business. It's called Olive and Coco. I'm making these great gift baskets for any occasion. Here are a couple photos. Here's my website. Reach out and let me know what you need, and I can share my pricing with you. My website will be updated soon. I mean, they have a full website, but maybe this was in the beginning when they were just starting out. And I encourage you not to wait until it's perfect. Get started as soon as you're ready. somewhat ready, not perfect. And then you want to set up an email service because you want to stay in touch with your friends and family and soon your followers. So I use MailChimp, Constant Contact, there are a bunch of other ones, and they'll help you set up a template which is branded with your logo, your colors, your picture, or whatever represents you. And then you want to have an opt-in to your newsletter. So something like share your email so we can stay in touch. And then you decide how many emails you'd like to send out. Like Olive and Cocoa might send out a sample October basket. So maybe they send an email once a month. Say, this is our featured basket for the month of October. It contains these wonderful products. Share it with your college student, your aunt, your parent, your sister, your brother. Reach us here. And maybe they do a newsletter a month showing the baskets that they have each month. So whatever you're selling or whatever service you're offering, determine what makes sense and how often you want to stay in touch with your new audience about your new business. So week 9 is educate. So when you're doing those newsletters, you don't want to say, buy my product, buy my product, buy my product. You want to educate and, include, you want to include stories. So if Olive and Cocoa has found a wonderful new cookie maker, maybe they share a maker story. And so their newsletter says, we met this wonderful woman, Susie Smith, in upstate New York, and she makes the most amazing Scotch cookies, shortbread cookies. This month, we're including her in our October basket, seen here. So you're really sharing some information, some story. Maybe you share Susie Smith's story. She learned how to make these Scotch cookies from her grandmother. She's been making them her whole life, and we're happy to include them in our gift basket. This is an example. Esther Bloom is a nutritionist, and she has a page on her site, Products I Love. So this is a great thing to say, to share in your newsletter. So the barley grass green juice powder. So maybe in her newsletter, she says, I've tried this barley grass juice powder, and I'm sharing it with my clients to help them with this problem or that problem, or to provide them energy. So she doesn't want to say every newsletter, use me as your nutritionist, use me as your nutritionist. She wants to educate her audience and followers about products. Now, she's also monetizing it, because then you can click through and buy the barley grass, and she'll get an affiliate payment back. So there are ways to monetize other than just hiring her as a nutritionist. And I covered those in my Monetize Your Blog webinar, but that's a whole nother topic. The other thing, I'm showing you an example of my newsletter. So I have it branded at the top, and then this is once a week I do a coveted collection. So I pick one of my vendors, and this is Carolina Crush, and they're offering, this is a new line they offer, these gold link chains. So this is one of the newsletters where I'm educating them about a new product that one of my vendors is offering. So make sure you're educating your audience through your newsletters, through your blog, through your social media, which is next. So you want to set up social media. Instagram is probably the #1 thing you want to have. Twitter, certainly. LinkedIn, if you're more of a business focused. Facebook, definitely. And it's really easy to use a program like Hootsuite or Later. So you post and they queue it up. You queue it up on those services and they roll it out over the course of the month. This is a recent post I did. I visited Hudson Valley, and I met this wonderful woman who has a restaurant. And so, I'm telling my audience about her restaurant and hope they visit her restaurant and how she's pivoted to offer products, food products and kitchen products in her shop. So, Olive and Coco could share the cookie woman in her Instagram and say, here's, this wonderful cookie, Susie Smith, and she's making these cookies, and look for them in our October basket. So you're sharing an interesting story while that your followers want to get engaged with, but at the same time they're learning your brand, and they're going to go, Olive and Coco, they want to get those cookies, they probably will buy your basket. So week 10 is set up your social media channels and brand them. So each of your channels should have your logo, your colors, your brand overlaid on it. Week 11 is network. So whether in person or online, networking is so important. And whether it's just one person or 15 or 100, there's so many ways to network. And I would suggest that you join groups. There are groups where only one of a kind is allowed. So they allow one bike person, one, you have to be singular to your industry. There's so many entrepreneurial groups. There are pitch nights. There are networking sessions. Just Google those and start joining, start going, build your network. And as you meet these people, ask them if you can add them to your email list and add them. Talk about your product, talk about your service. This is how you're going to get business and how your business is going to grow. Join the groups online. So if you're into gardening and you want to have a farm stand with your vegetables, join other vegetable groups. So maybe you join a group in upstate New York, but your vegetable garden is in Westport, Connecticut. They might say, oh, I have some friends down there, I'm going to tell them to stop by and see you. It's a great way, and I feel like the rising tide brings all, everyone rises together. So everyone, I'm a big believer in helping everyone. So join groups, network in person, network online, speak. Everyone's always looking for a speaker. So if you can go to one of these groups and ask to speak about your fabulous, farm vegetables, that would be great. People would love to hear your story. Find out where you can speak. If you want to go and speak about QuickBooks and how it helps businesses, but again, you don't want to talk about how you would help businesses. You want to talk about how QuickBooks could help businesses. And then you say, by the way, I offer this service and I provide QuickBooks for small businesses. So you're really educating your audience on how QuickBooks could help them, but also how you can be the one to do that, or whatever your service is. And I know speaking is scary, but the more you do it, the better you get. Week 12, Ca-Ching. This is where you ring the cash register. And this is even if it's free, because you want to get experience. So let's say your business is to teach people how to sew. And you're going to offer hour-long classes in your home or on your patio how to sew. So maybe you haven't gotten anyone to volunteer, to sign up and pay you. Get someone to volunteer. Maybe you say to your neighbor, listen, I'd like to practice my class on you. Have someone take pictures, get that neighbor to give you a review, because then you want to share that review on your Instagram and say, I gave my neighbor an hour sewing lesson. She loved it. And we talked about X, Y, and Z. And here's what she had to say. That's going to get people engaged. So even if you have to offer your services for free, it's a way to get started. It's also a way for you to practice what you're starting. So let's say you're starting a business where you plant someone's vegetable garden or their pots or their perennial garden. Offer to plant someone's garden for free and then show the before and after, the empty bed of dirt and then all the flowers you planted, and get a review from the person and what they thought of your service. But I believe that if you follow these 12 weeks, you should have your first client by week 12. I have every faith in you. So that's my 12-week course, and I really believe that if you find something that you love to do and are good at and are very passionate about, you get a little bit organized and you tell everyone in the world that you're doing it, you will be successful. Thank you.
That's great. Thanks very much, Holly. That was excellent. We do have time left for questions and answers. So if I could ask you to please just, if you're not sure how to access the chat, you just hover on the bottom of your screen, click on the chat window, and you can type your questions in there. And we'll take as many as we can up until the top of the hour here. We do have some questions to start with. Holly, the first one is from Tamira, and she's saying, do you think it's extremely professional to list pricing on a website for a clinical nutritionist / fitness trainer who wants to market themselves as a premium business? I'm concerned about diluting the image of the company.
Well, what are your competitors doing? Right? Or I would say, do other physical trainers list their prices? I mean, you certainly want to discuss price up front. I mean, maybe what you would do if you're not comfortable with that, offer, you know, if you want to make yourself, I have seen where people say, reach out for a half-hour consultation to understand my pricing and to see if we're a good fit. That way you don't have to, but once you talk with them and set up an appointment, you certainly then want to be clear about what your pricing is. But yeah, I get that. So maybe you discuss it over the phone and make sure it's a good fit before you offer your pricing.
Okay, that's great. We have a second one from Kim. Hi, Holly. If the business involves physical products beside Google search, what are other ways to make samples or finding manufacturers?
So I've dealt with so many venture moms who have had to find manufacturers. And it really is, I mean, you might find them in the first day that you're looking. You know, I would ask as many people. I knew, you know, it sort of seems like kismet. Once you're looking, they pop up. I knew a woman who was creating pillows and her neighbor's father was in the manufacturing business in Manhattan. Another one, her uncle's brother, uncle's whoever, friend was in the plastics manufacturing. A lot can be found on Google. Also call your competitors and see if they will share who manufactures. I mean, or maybe not direct competitors, but you know, do an informational interview and see if someone will share if it's a like product but not a direct competitive product. So it's a lot of networking, asking, and one of the other things with manufacturing is they might have a minimum. So don't be shy about saying, listen, I can't order 1,000 up front. Could I order 200 to start? Don't be shy about that. And if they won't do it, ask them who else would.
Okay, that's great. Next question is from Felisa, and I think it came when you were maybe talking about using Gmail, because the question is, doesn't Gmail now allow you to use your own URL? I'm not sure how to do that. So do you remember the context of what you're talking about?
Yeah, I do, and I don't know the answer to the question. You know what you can do, and I had a tech person do it for me, is that my info@venturemom.com goes through my Gmail. So that's above my tech level. So you'd have to ask a tech person on that.
And that's certainly not me. So anyway, our next question is from Susan. Do you have any tips for marketing on LinkedIn?
Well, absolutely. It's the same as any other social media. You know, I share my blog post on LinkedIn because I'm looking to show the more serious community that, you know, who I am as a business person, right? So I want to share that VentureMom is a marketplace and we're growing, and I have a knowledge base on entrepreneurship. So I share my blog posts there. Maybe not all of them, but you know, the thing to share on LinkedIn is an article on your industry. So, you know, for example, I did a piece, 6 weeks to a side gig, you know, and so that's a piece that I would definitely post on LinkedIn, or how these companies have pivoted during COVID. That would be a great one to share on LinkedIn, because I think with LinkedIn, you're targeting people who can expand your business through connections. You might not necessarily be targeting your end customer. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right, because it's more of a business to business. So.
Yes.
Okay, well, next, let me see. We'll next go to a question from Elisa. Could you please address if you offer two different services, personal organization and yoga classes? Would you create two separate social media accounts or two separate websites?
Probably, unfortunately, because yoga, I mean, think about it, all your hashtags are going to be directed at yoga and body movement and meditation. I get that being organized helps your mental state, and I think you could have a piece, you know, a blurb about it on each website. But, you know, organization, then you're going to follow all kinds of different social media, but you might use it under the same umbrella. So if it's Dandelion Yoga, it's Dandelion Organization, and under organization, and then maybe it's just, you know, a separate page, but it might be a different Instagram account, but you say, we take our yoga teachings and theories and apply it to organization. So, I mean, you could, but maybe it's one website, Dandelion, and then you have two boxes, Dandelion Yoga, Dandelion Organization.
Yeah, I think that's very helpful. Next question is, how does your 12-week timeline work with setting up a larger media platform and when you and your partners are not engineers?
So a larger media platform.
Not sure what the...
Well, I mean, if you're setting up a really serious, I mean, I'd love to speak offline about that, but I think I mean, I'd love to speak offline about that. I think that that may be more involved than starting a small business. And then you may need to hire engineers, but there's so much you can do without hiring engineers. I'm all about figuring it out on your own. But please reach out and I'm happy to talk to you.
Yeah, I think that's right. It needs more discussion around the complexity of that. So next question from Anna. I have a question regarding social media. They are very time consuming, can be expensive, and even getting followers does not mean you will actually sell product. So my question is, are they really worth your time and money? And what are other options to create buzz around and advertise your business?
Yeah, you know, I know myself, I've created a monster that I have to always feed, right? And that's where Hootsuite and Later come in, so you can queue it up when you're, you know, I queue up mine for the month and then I sprinkle in on a regular basis. I think that, you know, it sort of depends on the business, and it absolutely, if you can create a following, it absolutely helps. But I think, so let's say you have an organization business, a great way to get clients, a lot of charity events offer goodie bags, or they offer silent auction items. You could offer a 3-hour consultation, and so everyone that charity is sending to will see your name and what your business is, right? You could also send your own press release to the local paper. You could also go to the local library and ask if you could do a talk there on organizing photographs or, whatever your business is, there are other ways besides social media. And I think it's all about networking, speaking. If social media is not your thing, don't do it, because then it's not going to be real, and it won't be, then it won't resonate, or you won't have an audience if you're not into it. But if you're into speaking or networking or sharing your story with others, that's how you'll get clients. Ask for referrals, share your reviews with your friends and family. And by the way, you could have an email list and just send it out with your Gmail. If you're, Amy's organization at gmail.com. So once a month, send an email to your friends and family and say, hey everyone, I've got some time this month and I'm looking for a few clients. Maybe you know someone who wants to organize their garage before winter sets in. I'm available, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I have 3-hour sessions. Maybe that's all you need to do.
That's great. I think there's lots of good options there. Next question is from Edward. If I'm already an established business selling office equipment, how can I be the one to go to company compared to my competitors that clients, customers choose? Maybe there's some words missing there. Hang on.
So he sells office furniture and he wants to compete with those that other people are using.
Right.
I think that, again, it's networking and it's relationships. So much of business is about relationships and, getting out there. And so someone will choose you. They choose who they know, right? That's what happens. So you've got to network and get to know people. And, I know a real estate broker who sends potential clients free coffees, right? So you get in your inbox, you have a free coffee waiting for you at ABC Coffee Shop, right? So you go to ABC Coffee Shop and you get your free coffee, and then you think, that broker was so nice to send that to me. Obviously they want my business. Well, maybe I should reach out to him and have a conversation, and maybe I would use him, right?
Yeah, good. Yeah, good example. Good example. Follow-up question from Kim. Holly, if I narrow down to 3 different possible business ideas that I love the most, wine, golf, physical product design, what will be the best way to pick the one idea to go with?
Wine, golf, and physical product design.
A wide range of choices.
Yeah. Well, I would want to do your research. So what around wine are you doing? Are you going to be a sommelier? I think you have to take a class and do some other stuff. Or are you going to sell wine? How do you do that? What's involved? Golf. Are you going to teach golf lessons? That's an easy one. You could start that business this afternoon and charge $100 an hour to teach golf lessons, or whatever the going rate is in your community. A physical product, see what the competition is, decide, with a physical product, you want to know what it's going to cost to manufacture and what your margins are. So if it costs you $2 and you can sell it for $100, go for it. If people will buy it, right? If it costs you $2 and you can only sell it for $3, that's probably not a good choice. So more information about what your business is on each 3, I'm happy to discuss offline.
Okay, that's great. Just a reminder to people, if you do have a question, you can submit it by the chat box on your bottom of the screen. We do have about 6 or 7 minutes left. Our next one is from Sandy, who says, I'm wondering what you think about selling products and services of a small business startup at craft shows and farmers markets. How much time and money should be invested into those?
What was the word before farmers markets?
Craft shows.
Oh, craft shows.
Yeah. Well,
so many of my venture moms started out at craft shows and farmers markets. So it's a great way to, because if you're manufacturing yourself in your garage, which a lot of my venture moms did, take Nancy Zylstra, the belts, she started out at a crafts fair, and you can sort of get a read on your audience and see what people like, right? the Life is Good t-shirt company, they started out selling t-shirts at street fairs, and they had all these t-shirts, and the Life is Good t-shirt, everyone loved it. They sold out. So then they stopped all the other t-shirts and just sold the Life is Good t-shirt, and then they ended up having stores all over the country. So there's so many stories like that. Granola that started out at farmers market, and now you can find in airports all over the world. So a craft fair is a great way to test the market, or a farmers market, without spending a lot of money. So absolutely.
Good, good advice there, and I would certainly agree with those points. Another question we have from Rick: how do you stay positive when things go wrong, or at what point do you decide to cut your losses and start over in a new direction?
So on Shark Tank, a woman was presenting her idea, and I guess Mr. Wonderful said, sometimes when you have that dog you should take behind the shed and shoot. He goes, this is the dog. But the problem is you never feel that way about your own business. And this is why my tagline is, your business is your baby. If you start a new business, it truly is your baby, and you feel so it's just everything to you. I think when you're spending too much money and time, but I say never give up. So I don't know. I think maybe get some advice, maybe pivot. It's very difficult. It would be a case by case situation, and maybe it's, you need funding, or you need a partner, or you need to pivot to, and so many people have had to pivot for many reasons about, what's going on. You have to look at what's going on in the world and look at, maybe you should pivot.
Yeah, I would just add to that these are all specific situations, and Rick, it might be an ideal situation where you might want to avail yourself of some mentoring from SCORE, and just talk about it one-on-one with a mentor who might be able to guide you on those points.
Absolutely, and I'm available for free half-hour consultations anytime. Just email me.
Another follow-up from Felicia. Do you have any insight on starting a company similar to The Knot, where it's membership-based and advertising-based, and in particular, how much to charge and getting it started?
So a membership site is a great way to create income, but it's sort of cart before the horse. You have to have the number of followers, or nobody's going to pay to be a member, right? Or you have to have good enough content that people want to pay to be a member. I mean, what's your service? So I think, if I understand The Knot, you have to be a member to search their directory for wedding vendors. Or maybe it's the vendors who pay and anyone can search. But if I'm a vendor and I'm going to pay The Knot, how much do I have to pay, and how many looks am I going to get, right? But I do love a membership site. I knew someone who started a directory of healthcare providers in a specific space, in people who are addicted, and they became the source for these specific healthcare providers, and they charge the providers a membership fee, and people now only go to that site to find those types of providers. So I would be very niched if you're doing that, and also know that you have a large enough audience to choose from.
Okay, that's great. We have time for maybe one last quick comment, and I think you've already pretty much addressed this one in a prior question, and it's from Edward, who's saying, is it a good idea to promote products you sell on social media sites? And if you have a different view, what are other ways you should use social media site for promotion?
Well, I think that goes back to absolutely promote them, but make sure you're giving educating and good content, or people won't follow you. If it's just sell, they're not going to follow you. So you won't get the followers.
Okay. That's great. Just as we wrap up, Holly, if I could ask you to put the last slide up, and just while I wrap up here, because you know, our time is we have no more time for questions. But just as a reminder to everyone, this session has been recorded, and so you'll be able to see the slides and the recording on our website, fairfieldcounty.score.org, within the next 48 hours or so. And our next webinar is on Thursday, and the topic is funding sources for small business in the age of COVID, with Julio Casiano from the SBA presenting. And again, if you want to have free individual counseling, you can visit the Request a Mentor link on our website and just click on that, and someone will get back to you. And if you could please kindly fill out your evaluations at the end of the webinar that have been sent to you, that would really help us going forward. So on behalf of SCORE, thank you all for attending today's webinar, and a special thanks for Holly Hurd for presenting today. So stay well, everyone, and have a great day.